Alright guys, welcome back to another episode of the Fintech Outsider. In today's episode we have a special guest all the way from Italy, namely Andrea Zanoni. Andrea is a computer engineer with lots of background in cryptocurrency trading. So in today's episode we will join him as he utilizes his strength as a computer engineer and building algorithms for cryptocurrency trading. So, without further ado, let's head straight into it.
Okay.
All right, Andrea, welcome to the Fintech Outsider. Great having you here.
Thank you, Alex. Great to see you again.
Yeah, same here, bro. It's actually been like 3 years since we last met in Japan.
Yeah, definitely. It's such a long time. Didn't see you in ages.
Yeah,
Definitely.
that was great though.
Yeah.
So how's everything going? How's like all the programming and trading that you were doing back in?
Yeah, actually pretty well right now. I just went back to Italy. I started working. I had some sort of insights, like more insights about programming. And now I feel myself pretty comfortable and pretty strong doing like any kind of analysis about data and of course cryptos also.
Yeah, that's very interesting because you have a really cool background from, is it software engineering or I don't remember exactly what you were studying in Japan.
No, actually, I was studying physics engineering, so I'm stronger on the analytical one. But of course, I had to improve also my software programming skills. So that's why right now I'm working for a consultancy firm that also works in the high tech and IT in general. So I improved a lot, definitely.
That's cool. That's cool. Because when we met in Japan, I remember you were trading a lot, like on Binance, and you were around on different kinds of crypto exchanges. And these days, as my understanding is, you've been kind of going more towards the algorithmic trading.
Yeah, definitely. Because back in the days, I had some sort of insights based on analytical parts, but of course, I hadn't the knowledge to do that, or better, to make a PC do that for me. So right now, this is what I'm trying to do. I am like training a PC to do the all the heavy maths for me. Then I just need to analyze the data and get some sort of whatever I want from it, like some strategies, or also do the I can leave the PC do also the trading part for me. So that's pretty cool actually.
That's really cool. And are you still trading lots of different alternative cryptos, so-called altcoins, or is it mainly Bitcoin you're focusing on these days?
Well, I'm looking a bit into every coin just because, well, as you know, you never know. But I think that Bitcoin is just the most reliable one, because the other one are a bit too much volatile in my opinion, and I don't really want to afford many risks. I did back in the days. I'm just done. I'm okay with that. I can afford like normal reward or good reward, but with not that much risks. So that's why I'm
Yeah.
into Bitcoin right now.
All right. Did you get burned back in the days like every other crypto trader did?
Yeah, a bit, just say a bit, but I think every one of us did at least one time, so it's totally fine in the beginning.
Yeah, I
It
think you
helps you
have to get
grow.
to understand what's going on because if you're not getting burned, you won't like
Yeah,
really
exactly,
understand what's going
exactly,
on.
definitely.
And are you focusing most on the BTC USD market, or is it any other currency you are trading against?
Well, right now I just focusing on BTC USD mainly. Of course, on like on future plans, I want to focus also in between cryptos itself. So, for example, trading Bitcoins with Ethereum or other cryptos. But before I want to perform more analysis also into that, maybe some pair analysis or to see any kind of correlation in between the coins. And we're still working on that.
Yeah, we were talking a bit before we started to record this episode, and you were kind of telling me this kind of plans that you had, and it would be so cool to see if well the fintech outsider fans out there want to hear more about all these kinds of algorithmic trading and what you can do with data when trading.
Yeah, definitely. I would love to present them actually. So
Yeah,
if I find something important, I will definitely let you know, and also all our friends out there.
yeah, right. That's cool. So now I'm counting with you on my channel, bro. You have to be here every episode now.
Well, every episode will be a bit tricky, but I'll try my best, definitely.
That's cool. Yeah, all right. Without further to say, let's jump into the data and all the kind of cool things that you've been up to.
So over here, I just use a Jupyter Notebook. I don't know if many of our friends over there knows it. It's just, well, let's say a Python-based platform that you can use to test your code, write code and test it super quickly. And what I did with it was just create a program. I don't want to walk you about all the boring stuff, but if there is some sort of interest into this for you, just let me know. And me and Alex will be happy to make a video about it in details. But what this actually does is pretty interesting. It's just going to Google, well, searching for market coin cap, like
It's a
you can do normally.
com, right?
Yeah, on Google Chrome. So as you can go like Google Chrome, Market CoinCap, then you search for it, boom, you get the first site, you get inside. So this is the pages that you have seen many times, I think, at this point, if you're interested into cryptos. And then you can choose maybe a cryptocurrency that you are interested in, for example, Bitcoin over here. And you can go here and you see all the data, but those are just graphs that market coin cap gives you, but with no option to customize them or to perform analysis. So since I was really into that, I really wanted to find a way to do my own analysis. So I found out that you can just scroll over here and go to historical data, and then you can choose a starting date and an end day to retrieve the data of that particular crypto. And what the site provides you is just a huge table with all the data. This is not that impressive just because it was 1 month, but you can do, for example, 1 year long. And then what you will see is just the table is far way longer. And there is no way that you can analyze those data the way they are, right? You need to find some sort of ways to put them in an ordered way and build your own graph out of it. So that was actually what I did. For example, we can see it, what I did for 1 month. So my program over here, just to walk you through roughly, just goes to that website, asks for 1 month of data, and then with all this Python code that you can see over here, I can get another data frame with the data. And then onto those data, when I have them in Python, I can perform my analysis. And what I can get out after lots of calculation, pretty easy one actually, is this graph over here. This is a graph just for 1 month data. So what you can see over here is just the closing price on the blue line. That is the one with spikes and lows. And then you have a rolling average, that is the orange line. So this line, what it really represents is just the average of the price of 7 days before. So for example, it takes the price from day 1 to day 7 and then puts it here. And then from day 2 and day 8 and puts it here. And then goes along like this. This is useful to get a better understanding of what's happening, filtering out all the noise that is not useful for getting what's happening in the graph and what's the real trend. And then with that average, rolling average, I also computed the Bollinger Bands that are the green band over here and the red band over here. What those bands are and what those bands represents is just that with a 95% accuracy, the price will of the currency, for example, Bitcoin, will will happen to be in those bands, like the next prices. So as you can see, they really well enclose the real behavior of Bitcoins. So for example, we can see that sometimes it touches the band, but they never go out. This is pretty reasonable just because we are computing those bands to enclose with 95% probability the price that Bitcoin is going to have, if it is some sort of casual price, as like a normal noise in the market. And the last one that I computed over here is just a normal linear regression, just to have a better understanding of what's the trend overall. So what graphs can tell me, this graph, is that, for example, if I have a price of Bitcoin that is close to the red line over here, the red Bollinger Bands, then what I can see is that probably in that moment, historically speaking, the price was really low. So it was a good moment to buy Bitcoin for me. And on the opposite, if I have really, really close to the green line, then the Bitcoin in that moment are pretty overpriced. So they are not likely to spike over the green band. So it's probably a good moment to sell. Of course, this is just a rough idea that you can get of the behavior of Bitcoin in future, but definitely it helps you to just know, maybe that day you wanted to buy Bitcoin, but you were not sure because they were growing so much, but you still want to buy them. Well, if you see this and you see that you are so close to this green band, then maybe it's better to wait a couple of days. Not always sure, because as you can see over here, we have stayed close to the green one for a long time. But as you can see, we never went out of that. So it's really likely that you need to sell in that moment and not buy. And this is just a like short-term graph, right? Just 1 month of data to see really well what's happening. But if you want to have a more like long-term data, then you can pass to a graph that I did over here that is about 3 months of data. So this to me is even a bit more interesting, just because I can see the trends that you see before. Every line is the same of the other graph. But over here, you can see that we not only have that behavior that I told you about, that just maybe by chance, but is pretty recurrent, so is not chance. You have the lowest price in correspondence of the red band and the highest on the green one. And then they just start fluctuating all over again. But they never go out of those bands, just because of the way those bands are computed. It's just normal. But the interesting part over here is to see this kind of seasonal behavior of the orange line, of the mean price, that is growing, of course, as we can like see from the purple line, that is an average view of what's happening and the trend we are going. But we can also see that we have some sort of like bouncy behavior. Is just normal, it happens many times in the market. But over here is pretty interesting to see that it's happening constantly. So probably lots of people are speculating about it and just making trades on these graphs or on these reasonments. And in general, you can get an idea of where we are going and in which part of the seasonal behavior we are, if we are on the lows or on the high, and where you want to buy and where you want to sell accordingly. Lastly, I want to show you one graph that is about all 12 months of data. And over here, as also my friend Alex showed in previous video, I just did this one to show you that, of course, the green and red behavior is also here almost always right. It's really difficult, I think never you go out of those bands. And also what you can see here is, and Alex showed you, is that till now for maybe 5-6 months, we have some sort of trend, and then we have an opposite trend and then another one. So this is just some sort of seasonality that you can get out of a graph, just telling you, hey, if you stay into those months for that amount of time, like 6 months, then you have always the same trend. For example, here was growing and here was descending. Of course, this is not like a normal way you want to trade with, just because anything can happen and the market can just drop or have incredibly highs in no time. Of course, you want always to get documented and learn as much as possible about the market before trading. And but what you can grab out of this is just that in normal periods, in just like everyday trading and nothing really strange happening economically wise or in the macro context surrounding bitcoins and cryptocurrencies in general, then you have these sorts of trends. Those are also given by the outside factors, as I told you. But if there are no significant outside factors, this is just some sort of seasonality that you can see out of this graph. So as Alex always told you, those are just methods that I'm using to trade on Bitcoins and are just no advices, just personal strategies. But I really hope that this helps you to have a bit deeper insight on what you can do with data and how you can exploit them to get interesting trading strategies, or just to get some fun with them, actually. So this is all what I have to show you today. And maybe Alex has to say something more. I don't know, something about it.
Yeah, you can actually keep the graph open there. We can walk them through, because you have this 3-month chart up. If you can show the 3-month one.
Yeah.
You were talking about the seasonality here, and based on your experience, where do you think we're gonna go from here? Because you have a clear at the right there at the ending. As of today, you see the price is kind of heading downwards, or is it like?
Yeah, I mean, from my experience and from what I've seen from the 12-month graphs and the other data that I collected, this should be just a low, and then we should spike again up, following this trend as you can see it over here in the blue line, but even clearer in the orange line. So we are just going into this part over here. Then we will have another high and then another low, but always following a growing trend. I think at least for the another month or two, as Alex told, as you told Alex, um, maybe till 12,000, something around there. But on the midterm, I'm really not sure. What I can just grab from this and what I'm sure about for myself is just that in the short term, we are going to grow following this trend over here. So right now we are in a valley, let's say in a low. So I think we are going to go up again to another high, some sort of those points over here. And this is just super short term, maybe seven, as I told you, 7 days, 10 days. In between a month, we are just going to observe again this trend over here, in my opinion. So this is what I think about general movement and short-term movement. On the midterm, I just think we are going to raise for another couple of months, and then maybe we can see another inversion of trend as happened over here. But it will be pretty smooth, I think.
Right. Yeah, it's kind of interesting because all of the graphs here, the linear regression line is positive.
Yeah, definitely. Also in this one where we had like different behaviors, right? Growing behavior, downward behavior, and then another growing is less positive than this one, of course. Like the coefficient is not that high, not that growing up that quick, but it's positive. And that's mainly because of the moment we are in, and also the fact that we dropped from the super high of 20,000 to like really low values. So I think we are still growing. There is definitely space to grow. Bitcoin right now are not at their best, and they, in my opinion, they're a bit underpriced. So yeah,
Actually, it's really cool to see that graph, because this is the 1 year, right? The 12 months one.
Yeah.
So if you look at the highs there, it's almost 14K at the top there. And I was talking last week in this channel, I was talking about the downward spiral that we've been going ever since like middle of last year until the end of last year, before we were breaking out of that channel.
Yeah,
the early
exactly.
days 2020, and that is very visible in this graph actually.
Yeah, definitely. And if you want to see it even clearer, you can just put whatever date you want in the program, in the algorithm, and then you can compute whatever time span graph you want. So that's the power of this method also. And you can compute it with all the bands, all the averages, and all the regression that you want, taking just the amount of time you prefer to see it better and clearer.
That's really cool, man.
Yeah, thank you. But of course, on the economical insight, I think you're still the best. I cannot beat you. I just have fun using data, that's for sure.
Yeah, I'm very impressed by your skills doing these kinds of stuff. I cannot do them, so I think I need a course from you, Andrea. You can
Yeah,
definitely.
maybe one day we will do it. Maybe we will do it also for the friends that are following us. Who knows?
Yeah, definitely. It would be really cool if they are interested to see more. We should definitely do videos on how to create these graphs based on the data from CoinMarketCap.
Yeah, definitely up to that if needed. Just call me or whatever, and we can get in touch and do an in-depth video about this and how you can compute your own graph with your own bands and whatever you want to get from that data. Once you have the data, you can do whatever kind of analysis you want. You can also organize your own portfolio if you want to get more than one cryptocurrency together, or just you can do pair trading if you find some sort of correlation in between cryptos. You can do really a huge amount of stuff to help you trading more, like in a more conscious way, and also with a better vision of what's happening.
Yeah, actually, I would be very interested to see how Ether is doing compared to Bitcoin. That would actually be a really cool episode if we can do this kind of comparison, because I think that Ether might be a bit undervalued compared to Bitcoin these days, because if you've seen historically the kind of difference in market cap and dominance between Bitcoin and Ethereum is like on its historical high now. So it usually goes down a bit, which basically means that Ethereum is performing better than Bitcoin, or Ethereum should perform better than Bitcoin in the short term at least. That would be a really cool thing to look at least.
Yeah, exactly. We could also see if they are correlated together and strongly correlated. Then if one of those has a higher value, then probably he is overpriced. It is overpriced and it's going to go down, or the opposite way around. And also we can see how they move compared to each other, and you can put them on the same graph or see how much they are correlated. So how much do you think, are you confident to say that they are going to move together or in opposite way with respect to each other? That is pretty cool either, and you can do that with any cryptos on the market right now. So definitely a powerful approach. Definitely.
Really cool, man, Andrea. So yeah, I think we should follow up this episode with a more detailed, more technical one where we look into the coding aspects of doing an algorithm like this.
Yeah, if it is in the interest of the channel, of course. Yeah.
Because now we kind of got the visuals, how it looks like, and it would be kind of cool to see what's under the hood here as well.
Yeah, I feel the same, and I'm pretty happy to teach anyone who is eager to learn how you can do this stuff.
Cool, man. That's cool, man. All right. Thank you so much for now then, Andrea. Let's catch up
Thank you to
again.
you for hosting me on your channel, and it was really nice to catch you up and like see you again after such a long time.
Alright guys, that was it for today. What do you say? Did you like what you saw? Did you like Andrea's algorithms? And do you also want to level up your own trading and maybe learn more of what is going on under the hood of Andrea's algorithms? If you want to know more and learn more about algorithmic trading, please drop a comment and tell me that you want to see more of that. And as always, don't forget to give me a like and a following, because That's how I know that you want to see more of this. Without further ado, that was all from me today, and I'm looking forward to see you in the next episode. Bye bye.